Zed's dead, baby. What a legend, dude.
He sees that Jerry's on the TV. He's like, dude, that's the dillweed that cost me my bowling alley.
You ain't so bad without all those people, are you? Yeah, he gets him, Steve. He knocks him to the floor, honestly.
Hold up, man. I'm down with Jermaine. Man.
Happened in the 90s.
This was like kind of a deep cut Bruce Willis movie.
Yeah,
I
because she has some
should have.
randos.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, especially if it came out on DVD when we were in college. I mean, I was just buying movies.
Exactly. Just because they were there. Like, yeah, some of them might have been just like one and done. Like, yeah, I watched it because I got it. Moving on.
I mean, it was Tuesdays. That was the day. Physical DVDs were released on Tuesdays. We'd go to Myers, we'd go to Best Buy, and I'd go, Way of the Gun. What's that? I'll just, fuck it. I'll get it.
What was the one? You worked at Giant Eagle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they just made that. I think, like, you were like one of the first employees.
I was one of the first employees. Me, a couple old ladies. Yeah, dude, you want a great job, everybody out there. Get a job when they're first building a business, and all you have to do for months is just put together shelves. And if you work at a video rental store, which you never will because they don't exist anymore, you got to just take the DVDs out of the case and make rewrap the case in plastic so we could put it out on the shelves. And that was my job for months. So all I got to do was go, what the fuck is this movie? I guess I'll be taking this home with me tonight. That's how we got Baby Boy, Steve.
That's how you got Baby Boy.
Dude, I was talking about Tyrese today with the wife, and she was like, I'm not really like a huge fan of Tyrese's music as much as his acting. And I was like, I kind of get that, but you got to hear that Baby Boy soundtrack, hear that song. He's just a baby boy. He's not the real McCoy.
Is he on that song?
I think that's him. I'm pretty sure that's Tyrese. Yeah, working at a video store was tight. We were talking about Bruce Willis, Steve, before we started here. And I got to ask you, we all love John McClane. We all love Die Hard. But if you had to pick like one Willis role that's not that, what are you thinking?
Easily Pulp Fiction.
You stole mine.
Easily.
Totally stole it. But I will give you a nice second. I mean, that's very easy. But a nice second that I think is a slept-on movie because it's got two legends. The Last Boy Scout.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. But you gotta go fucking Bruce Willis just beating up a couple of men rapers in a basement. Zed's dead, baby. What a legend, dude.
Yes.
We
gonna get medieval on it,
dude. Shout out to Bruce Willis, man. I know he's going through some extra things now that fucking blow because we're getting old and all of our heroes are just going down. But Bruce, you're one of my top 10s
for action, for sure.
Comedy and just a tough son of a bitch. He can make you laugh too, Steve. Moonlighting
with Sybil Shepherd.
Yeah, dude. Throwing a couple of zingers in there. He was hilarious.
I know I'm missing some.
I mean, all of his movies had a little bit of comedy, but I mean, like, even some of his older movies were tight. I mean, he did that movie with Robert Rodriguez that was part of that Grindhouse double feature. He was in Planet Terror, and he was just kind of like, I don't know if it was there forever because I know Kevin Smith had some issues with him on that movie he did with Tracy Morgan, Cop Out or whatever. But
yeah,
he seemed to have like a real, like he was good on SNL. He was good on like, he just, he'd throw some comedy, he'd throw you some gems. He was also in another movie called, he was in Sin City too. Shout out to that.
Sin City. That's what I was forgetting. Yes.
That, and he was in a movie with Mos Def called 16 Blocks. Let me see if I can find this. Kind of a unknown one, but I kind of dug it. It's got Mos Def even throwing in a wacky like yo, and he has like a crazy boy yo no. He sounds like a little. He's like kid speak almost. He's like a baker or something.
He sounded like that skit on Chappelle's show.
Yeah, and then one last
Oh,
one that I just got to shout out because I like it. Unbreakable, that M Night Shyamalan movie where he's like a superhero.
I mean, throw in Sixth Sense too, but I don't
Yeah,
know. People are kind of on the fence about that
you
at this
hate The
point.
Fifth Element. Also, I think he's dope in that. You didn't care for that.
I'm not going to say I hate it. It's just like the genre, man. Unfortunately, it's the genre.
Yeah, I get it, Steve. You know, you don't like sci-fi, you don't like aliens, you don't like Gary Oldman looking hella crazy in that, as he always does. Armageddon, Steve. So I mean, this guy, we could go down the list, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of legendary movies, and then there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know he was in a Charlie's Angels movie, Steve. Full
I didn't know
Throttle.
that either. Well, at that point, I checked out on that. I saw the first one, and we're also going to be talking about, in my opinion, one of the best R&B albums, the best R&B singer of all time. He's the king of R&B, R. Kelly, man.
He's the Pied
And
Piper, Steve.
yeah,
There's a point, Steve, where art and the artist, we've been made to separate them because they've done some fuck shit. And, you know, I'm not going to speak on the crimes, but the art, Steve, I can't stop listening to it. I'm not going to stop listening to it.
it's something about this moment. You remind me of my team, man. Like it's just undeniable, man.
But I'd like to point out that we're saying this about this guy, but inevitably there's a level where the talent doesn't outweigh the crime. You know what I'm saying? Like a mystical, I'm done.
Mystical,
Uh,
I'm definitely done.
yeah, that's out. I mean, I can't. I'm not trying to like just throw shade on a bunch of people that have done fuck shit just openly, but I'm just saying that R. Kelly's up here with the talent, so we're gonna
Yeah.
keep listening. Michael Jackson, same thing. He's all over the radio. I just heard "Beat It" like driving to the grocery store yesterday, but you know
Dun,
that
dun.
when you don't got the talent to match your weirdness, you know, maybe
Yeah.
just pick up a hobby that's a little more acceptable. You know, keep it pushing.
UPS is always there.
You know, it might sound callous, but no matter what, I'm going to keep listening. And I can't help that, Steve. It's not giving him any money. And I don't want the man freed. He's in jail and he's probably not that bad for the man anyway. You know, I've seen some videos. He's in there crooning. They get a fucking free R. Kelly concert in prison all the time. So, you know what? This guy, he's overcome the adversity of being found out to be a criminal. And I'm just out here saying that there's no problem with that. We're allowed to watch things and listen to things from the past that we love, regardless of what is happening with the artist. But if you're out there and you don't got R. Kelly level talent and you're into some weird shit, maybe just either just don't get famous, or if you do, go back to just the vanilla shit, you know? Just keep it cool until you get old, and then people won't care. They'll be like a Bill Cosby level thing. I mean, we are throwing shade everywhere, Steve. These
Just,
people are just getting shot.
just stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your Bernie Kosar jerseys and your weekend at Bernie's too, because you remind me of my Jeep. I want to ride it, something like my sound. I want to pump it, girl, you look just like my car. I want to wax it, something like my bank account. I want to spend it, baby.
Kills. Love it, Steve.
Girl, you know I want you real bad. Today, my friend, we're talking all things November 14th in the 90s. Starting off in 1991, the new Michael Jackson music video, Black or White, premieres simultaneously in 27 countries to an audience of 500 million people. Controversy is immediately generated by the video's last 4 minutes, in which Jackson smashes windows, vandalizes a car, and causes a building to explode. as well as suggestively grabbing his crotch repeatedly while dancing.
God,
That's what did it.
all that violent. Did you see how many times he grabbed his crotch? Morty, count it. What if people are dumb, Steve?
They're not my favorite, but I remember watching this in the premiere, man. I
How
think this
many
was
people did you say watched it? Like, or
500
500?
million.
Bah!
Yeah.
I mean, how much money was made that night by whatever company? But Jesus, 500 million? That will never happen again unless something bad happens.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, this was major, man. It had George Wendt from freaking Cheers. It had Macaulay, the Culkster, in it. And if I'm not mistaken, Tyra Banks was one of those faces in that part where they're doing the little montage of different colors of different people, different races. Yeah, she was one of the models.
God bless. This is a great song, too. We all love this fucking song.
Awesome song, man. Directed by John Landis. This was major, and this aired simultaneously on different networks on MTV, VH1. I remember watching it on Fox. Yeah, man, this was big. I remember the Panther. I believe there was a Panther scene that was a part of this.
Panther. I'd have to go back and watch it again, but to have John Landis directing your music video, in the 90s, there were like people like Hype Williams who were like strictly there to do like, I mean, he made movies, but he wasn't like a movie director like that. It wasn't like Spielberg
Yeah,
was making a video.
yeah,
So I was just like, was amazed. Like, that's how big of a star this guy was. It's hard to quantify now because his name's been tarnished. And if you weren't there to see the height of it, like in the early 90s and the late 80s, like when we saw it, Steve.
we saw it, man.
There was shit before that, but we saw like the tip top of it. And it's crazy, dude. And to have something simulcast on all these networks that weren't at the time owned by the same company, I don't think. It's not like now where like Disney owns everything. It was probably a process to get all this to happen. You know, you were selling it to different agencies and shit. So that's crazy. And they all played it at the same exact time.
Same exact time, like a world premiere, not just country.
Damn.
Yeah, this was a world premiere. And you remember how in those concerts, man, like all the Asian people passing out, like in
Yeah.
China and Japan and
Yeah.
shit, man. Yeah, he's the biggest star. I don't know of any other person that's going to come close. People talk about Beyonce and stuff, but like, man, no, dude, there'll never be another.
I think that there were people that attained like that frenzy thing, like the Backstreet Boys and stuff like that, where you saw like people trying to like push buses over and stuff. Like it was just like a crazy reaction. But his was like one, he got that, and it was like sustained. Like it wasn't like for a couple of years. It was for like a decade where or more than that. I mean, he was doing it since he was a freaking kid. But yeah, dude, it is wild to think about that. And to like now it doesn't seem weird. Like, oh, all these places played it at the same time. It's like that's our reality now because one company owns everything, or we're watching YouTube or something like that. But back in the day, to have that happen for a music video, you know what I'm
And
saying?
And on top of that, man, Fox got its highest Nielsen rating from this video, man. You have to think about all the Super Bowls they've aired, all those Simpsons, and all those like huge American Idol moments that they've aired. Like this is the biggest rating the network's ever seen. Crazy to think
God,
about.
some network guy was just like, "Oh my God, did you say 500 million?" Just uncontrollably busting, Steve.
Out the seams, man. That following year, Nickelodeon broadcast the Kids' Choice Awards live for the first time. It's not the first Kids' Choice Awards, just the first one that's been televised.
I mean, I get it, Steve. I never enjoyed this, but you know what?
No,
Have at it, guys.
me either. Don't care about any of these award ceremonies. Could give two shits about them. But I only want to bring this up because I thought the nominations were fucking hilarious. For favorite movie, it came down between The Addams Family, Boys in the Hood, and My Girl. Yeah, it gets
wait,
funnier.
wait, what was the last one?
My Girl.
Oh, I thought you said Michael. I was like the John Travolta Angel movie. What the
Oh,
fuck?
But get this, favorite movie actor was Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2, Ice Cube in Boys in the Hood, and Kid and Play in Class Act. Like they shared the nomination. Like they're Siamese twins. And favorite movie actress, Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act, Julia Roberts as Hook, and Michelle Pfeiffer as Batman Returns. I thought that selection was pretty cool. But the TV shows came down between Beverly Hills 90210, In Living Color, and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Favorite TV actor, Bill Cosby, Luke Perry, and Will Smith.
Nice. Nice, guys.
Favorite TV actress, Roseanne Arnold, Christina Applegate, and Jenny Garth. That's kind of random. Favorite musical group or male singer, Criss Cross, Boyz II Men, and Hammer. Favorite female singer or group, Paula Abdul, In Vogue, and Mariah Carey. And they had a special recognition, a Hall of Fame that they gave to Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bill Cosby, and Michael Jordan. So
there
fun
you go,
fact.
guys. Bill is getting a lot of accolades from the kids, Steve.
Hey, it was 92, man. He was still safe in these streets.
I love. Yeah, I'm the same way with the award shows. I don't give any shits about any of them. There was a small time in the '90s, or like the '90s, when the MTV Movie Awards, I would tune in because invariably Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, Will Smith also would give these crazy speeches and stuff, and they had some fun stuff to do in it. But other than that, the actual awards.
Yeah. And that following year, 1993, Married with Children is airing season 8, episode 9, No Ma'am. The women take over the bowling alley and the nudie bar. Al and his group are furious and create the No Ma'am group. Hilarity ensues.
Yeah, we got to get these shirts out, Steve. I'm sorry. It might have a weird reaction now, but, for those that know, they know. If you know, guys. And I support this, but there's a weird skew in this, Steve, that I'm confused on. We'll get to it because there's a cameo in here, which I love. But the way they slant it, I'm like, I don't know if you guys watch the show enough because I feel like it was pretty all over the place. I don't think it was like this.
Oh yeah, his real show it isn't like. And by the way, we're talking about two popular talk show hosts in this episode, man. I don't know whose show is better, man. Jerry Springer's or Varnell's.
Yeah, dude. Both these episodes are wild of this actual like fake show. Like if you saw it and it was a real thing, you'd be blown away either way. One of them has a hostage situation in it, for fuck's sake.
We start this off with Bud and Kelly watching TV.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, look, the president's giving a press conference," and he's like, "We got to know some stuff. Shut up." And he turns it back to the press conference, but then it's like special alert: Christian Slater's showing his butt, and it just cuts to it, Steve, because it's that good.
And then Peggy and Marcy, Bruce Jenner, Darcy comes in, and they want to watch Jerry Springer, the masculine feminist.
Yeah, we all know Jerry Springer, the masculine feminist, Steve. But shout out to Jerry Springer, Ohio legend, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's just a very pro women show from what those of us that lived through the '90s remember from this guy. He's apologizing to women on behalf of all men, and his show's even sponsored by a tampon company called I Can't Believe It's a Tampon.
Feels so natural. If you wish it was always that time of the month.
He's a masculine feminist. Very politically correct, especially for the '90s, Steve. I mean, this is crazy.
He even apologized to Lonnie Anderson on behalf of Bert,
Damn. Well, he's over at Varnell's fucking getting his little thingy thing on. But he's just trying to like do stuff for the ladies. He's trying to get it back for the chicks that it's hard for them. They don't get the respect. They don't get this. They don't get that. And he's been out there fighting the good fight for them. He even took over a bowling alley in the local area for the ladies and demanded that they have a ladies' night and instituted it immediately. And you know what? I don't like it, Steve. I don't like it at all.
And you know who else doesn't like it? Is that Al Bunny, because he comes in the house to a huge roar. Ah! Yeah! Ow, 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 ow. He got jumped by some broads.
I mean, shit got wild at the bowling alley because apparently it's ladies' night now. He didn't know. They didn't tell anybody. And he got his ass kicked by a couple of butchy ladies that wanted to fucking roll a 300.
Fucking
You
studly
know?
do rights. And they're savages, man. And as he sits down and he sees that Jerry's on the TV, he's like, dude, that's the deal we that cost me my bowling alley.
And Jerry's, I mean, he's going a little militant feminism now because he wants to expand all the ladies' rooms at the bowling alley. Just basically the guys get a little fucking hole someplace to, do their business. But the ladies, they get a big, beautiful bathroom and they get a lactation room, Steve, because they got a pump.
But that's enough for Al. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna call into this sucker show. 555-7272. And he's like, man, bowling is a man's sport. If you wanted women to bowl, he put breast on their back so we have something to look at when we're waiting our turn.
Yeah!
D.
Jerry's just like, shut up, dude. He's about to kick Al off of the call. And Al's like, mark my words, Jerry. Next Thursday, men will be bowling. Okay? Mark my words.
Cut to next Thursday. They're bowling in Al's garage.
They got those baby like foam pins, Steve. He picks up a nice spare almost, I think. But this is just it's boobless, Steve, and it's a bore fest, and it's kind of pathetic,
Yeah. It's so pathetic that they suggest going to the movies together, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's see what's in the paper."
Well, they get into it, Steve. It gets heated. The guys are getting too close. It's very weird energy, and then it gets physical because they just don't know. They got to bowl, Steve. They got to fucking expend that physicality on the lanes, not on each other.
One guy suggests we go to the newsstand and buy a magazine. Like, who the fuck? Like, dude, what's wrong with you?
You guys want to buy some nudie bags? Hey, G-Miss.
Are we 14 all of a sudden?
At one point, it says they come to their senses. They're like, we're men, okay? Nudie mags? What the fuck are we talking about? We're going to go where there is no ladies' night. We're going to go to a place where everybody knows our name, the nudie bar.
Where a buck's enough to see her stuff. The
where
nudie bar.
Where the breasts may be fake, but man, do they shake, Steve.
At the nudie bar. Where you swear like a sailor and wish you could nail her. The nudie bar.
When there's cops at the door and Kennedy's on the floor.
The nudie
bar. Yep.
Bundy.
Yeah, dude. This guy is a legend, Steve. Fuck the tutties that he got back in the day. I like this. This is the kind of movement I want to get into.
And they make it to the nudie bar, and their usual spot where they sit at, nothing is the same.
It's like, weird.
There are no mirrors on the tables. You can see up skirts.
Yeah, there's no lights, there's no black lights, there's nothing. There's not even like bass music. It's just kind of has like a tea room energy almost,
Yeah, this ain't my normal get up, man. And then all of a sudden fucking Bruce Valanche comes out and with a poem talking about her ovaries. My egg, my egg. My egg. And then someone throws an egg at her.
It begs to be the father of my eggs. Yeah. But Al's like, you know what? Fuck it. He still has some singles.
Yeah. I'm not here for a long time. I'm for a good time. And I guess they had to regroup, and they realized the nudie bar was made into a coffee house. And one guy suggests, hey, we can play bonbon toss with your wife. Like, man, hey, bro, only I can talk about my wife.
Don't you fucking say shit. And I mean, Al's like, he's crushed, dude. That was his only play. There's no man cave in this house. There's no place to think about the world and like your problems with some titties in your face. And he's got nothing now. He's got nothing. He's got a gross crew of guys that I wouldn't want to hang out with. It's real fucking gross crew too. You know, other than Jefferson, I'll give him a pass. But
Yeah.
this guy Jefferson's questionable because we'll see that later. Where it's like I don't know if this guy's going to be behind you in a fight. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he's the one that pulls. You know, you got to have a Jefferson in the crew. You know, he's the pretty boy.
Yeah, you're right. And he's got that covered. But I was like, it's it. This is it. Okay, this is the last fucking straw. No bowling, no titties and ass. No wings at the fucking nudie bar, guys. What is this?
Can't get jiggy to this shit. And as Peg watching the masculine feminist, his introduction is interrupted, and we see that Jerry Springer's hog-tied by some mysterious men in masks. And this looks like the work of the National Organization of Men Against Amazonian Masterhood.
No, man.
And apparently one of them scored 4 touchdowns in a single game.
Yeah. And they keep cutting to like the living room, and I think Bud's like, hey, didn't Dad like somebody's like, didn't Dad do 4 touchdowns? Like, it's fucking Al, guys.
Yeah. And if their demands aren't met, they're going to take masculine feminists and perform the first sexorcism on air. I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, well, damn. And I do like how like Al and Jefferson keep saying each other's government names, and they're like, dude, I'm fucking Johnny, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a bunch of demands, and they said that if they're not met, do you remember what the demands were? And then we'll get to what the actual like consequences are, Steve.
Don't talk to us after sex or before sex or during sex. Hell, you're lucky we take our pants off. And stop talking about
You guys can get your pants off? How do you get them over the shoes? Gross screws, Steve.
And stop talking about Fabio. Yeah, with his long flowing blonde hair and 48-inch chest. We're the ones who should be talking about. Wait, hold up.
Pause.
Roger?
90s pause.
Al introduces Bubbles, Miss Double D. She's ditzy.
Yeah, hell yeah. She's from Club Swish. So I guess there is a club there that they could go to. But he's like, you know, we want to get a lady's opinion on all this stuff, obviously. We're not monsters. So Bubbles is here. And Miss Bubbles answers a couple of questions. You know, she's out here to like field questions from the audience. So, sir, you there with the Google eye and the urine stain?
Yeah.
Can you jump up and down, please? Yeah.
You over there, sir. Can you do it again?
I don't know. I'll try. And then I got to give it up to Miss Bubbles, though. You can be my ring girl at the WW, and if I'm ever a wrestler. She's looking right and tight, Steve.
She's got the hand-eye coordination. She didn't slip.
She's got a nice vertical leap too, so she might be able to pull in a couple of interceptions if she has to, contested catches. But then Marcy breaks in because she's obviously going to be the Debbie Downer of all this, and she's like, "This has to stop."
This is Al Oink Oink Bundy. You're all cowards.
And so she's going to confront him. So we cut back to the house, and Peg and the kids are basically trying to like do the math of what their new life's going to be because they got to get out of town.
So now they're the cats.
Hey, Bud and Kelly Cat. That sounds like a fucking porn name, actually. And that's
Kelly
cool
Cat.
too.
And they're running away.
Give me a Penn State Nittany Lion roar, Steve.
And now, like the cats, they're running away. They don't want anything to do with Al now. Al and Marcy, they have a little showdown, one of many. And she tells him, like, the only reason we talk to you after sex is so that we know when you're finished. You're a chicken.
If it's true he spends so much time in the kitchen, why do you spend so much time in the bathroom?
Because you're a chicken.
You have no leg to stand on because men need women more than women need men. And this is not coming from Matt G. This is coming from Marcy Darcy, Steven. You know, I want to just take a moment here and say that I don't agree with any of this, Steve. I'm a modern day feminist.
Oh God. Oh, oh my God. Not
No,
you.
I'm fucking. I just wanted to see what your reaction was.
Uh, so
But
cringe.
and then that was that's an argument we hear a lot, right? That's the fun little argument that's always on TV. But again, Al's like he was flubbing this. He was Bidening this in this little debate they're having. He was just getting caught off guard. Marcy's hitting him with gut shots, and it takes him a second to kind of compose himself, you know?
Yeah.
And Al finally, within this conversation, is like, hold on a second, toots. This is no man's country you're in. This ain't Lilith fair that we're talking in this.
Yeah. So the next time you need some furniture moved or an engine replaced, yeah.
Couple of jars opened, couple of peanut butter jars opened. So we're caught here, Steve. We're caught in this like debate. It's like, what's going to happen? Like, how does this stop itself? And how does it stop itself? The cops come busting.
Because she does need some men, and in this special occasion, yeah, she called on a few gentlemen, and they come out, and one of the cops is like, "You again, Al Bundy?
Damn.
Hey, where were you when I got robbed? Where were you when I got robbed? Is that the masculine feminist? Tie him back up."
I feel like that cop also, I've seen that cop someplace else. I was like, that guy looks so goddamn familiar, but.
Well, he ends up being in the No Ma'am group
Oh,
eventually.
well, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
This
becomes
was the first time that No Man became a thing.
This is the initial, yeah.
Man, I thought it happened way earlier than season 8. That's crazy.
Because Griff's not even there. His buddy Griff at the shoe store.
Oh, yeah.
And so now we cut to Al. He's back at that coffee house, which used to be a nudie bar, and he's working there. And
my eggs.
Yeah, Bruce Lange comes back up. Roseanne comes out with her egg, and Al, he has a spare egg to throw at her again.
And he's got a gun, Steve. He fucking pegs that chick in the face.
Hey,
she
man.
looks like Mimi if she was goth. The degradation of Al in this episode. There's no winning in this. And I know this is basically, that's the tone of the show, but
That's his life.
He's still got pegged, though. You know?
Yeah,
he's still got
always
pegged.
that. Yeah, and the 4 touchdowns in a single game. On that same day in 93, Martin is airing season 2, episode 12, Hollywood Swingin' Part 2. Martin turns a talk show appearance into a spectacle. Hilarity ensues.
Yep. And if you were tuning into our show last week, you remember us talking about part 1 where Martin, hung out with Varnell, got played. Stan played his ass, wanted him to wear some booty shorts with the ass out, and he quit. And now he quit because he wanted to go to Hollywood because Varnell had told him, if you're ever in Hollywood, I'll put you on the show. So that's basically a handshake agreement to Martin, Steve. So they're going to Hollywood, and now they're in Hollywood.
Official, like the referee whistle, man. And we get the recap at the beginning. BDB, get your saddle. We heading out west. And they're in Hollywood now, and they're rolling around in a drop top rental.
Yeah, this ain't like this is like a Chrysler LeBaron type shit, Steve.
For early 90s standards, it was clean, man. They end up at Spike's shop, 40 Acres and a Mule, where he's selling merchandise. And Martin's on the move. He's waiting on Tommy and Cole to come out. And Cole, he needs $100 for one of the hats. And that's just the down payment for the layaway, Tommy says. And, this is calling attention to the high price merchandise that Spike Lee would sell. And I think In Living Color even parodied this, man. I used to want like 40 Acres and a Mule, something like a shirt or a hat or something, just to represent, man. Spike Lee's my favorite. And but like I didn't even know this as a kid, that his stuff was that high price, man. Like one of his hats was like the price of some Jordans. It's crazy.
God damn,
Yeah,
in the 90s, damn.
yeah.
Well, I
I guess
guess if you see somebody wearing it, you know they're a huge fan. Then it's like I could definitely approach that person.
he's trying to buy his 40 acres and a mule.
We gotta go. I only got an hour until Varnell's show starts. I gotta touch base because Gina and all them are lollygagging. So he's going off on that, Pam's like, "Yo, stop, stop!" And they look over, and she's like, "Denzel," because some guy's getting into a limo, and she's just like, "I know his body."
Yeah. Any black guy getting in a limo. And so she steals a dude's car to track Denzel down.
And they just go, they are like, "Oh, fuck it, we're gone." Like they don't even worry about it at all. She just committed GTA, and Martin's like, "Well, let's go." You know, luckily the guy that she stole the car from didn't put two and two together quick enough because he could have done something. But they got to get to the show, Steve, and how they did anything in the time frame they're talking about in LA traffic, even in the '90s. I don't think it was even possible.
Yeah, how did they do that? How did they even make it to the green room? Like there was no security to stop them. It was very easy to make it to backstage.
Yeah, I mean, Gina and Cole go to get the seats. You know, it's easy to get seats to go to an. I've been on Conan O'Brien. I sat in the audience. All you got to do is show up.
Yeah.
But to get to the green room, you know, you'd think there'd be a couple of hurdles or something. But Tommy and Martin get in there lickety split. They're in, Steve. And Varnell Hill must be like motherfucking Johnny Carson because it's stacked with celebs.
Some of the biggest at the time, man. You know, and Martin's like, "You smell that, Tommy? That's Hollywood." No, that what you smelling is Madonna. Oh, oh, she just up in the dressing room, just busting it open, ain't she?
Holy shit. I didn't see this. Maybe you clocked it. Apparently there's a Mel Gibson impersonator somewhere. I didn't clock that person. I mean, he
He
obviously doesn't say anything, but
he's the guy that's holding Michael Jackson back, wearing the varsity jacket. Like I could tell, like he's got like the Mel Gibson, like Lethal Weapon one
okay.
style of hair.
That
Like,
clocks.
yeah,
Also, Burt Reynolds, Martin's like, you know what, Tommy? You just hang back. I'm the star, so I gotta just go schmooze a little bit,
yeah.
uh, and just get my, the name out here. So he approaches Burt Reynolds and some lady. He's like, "Yo, Burt Reynolds," and he's chopping it up, and he's like, "That ain't Lonnie, Burt." And the guys, Burt Reynolds, like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then he looks over, yells across the room to Tommy. He's like, "Yo, Tommy." Bert got the white
Like,
man's weave. I mean, Bert could have clocked him, Steve. We talked about it earlier. He's got some fucking crazy energy, but
as he's backing up, he bumps into Michael Jackson as he's doing his moonwalk, and then they get into it. Mel Gibson dude breaks it up. He's like, "Man, the real Michael got glitter in his socks."
yeah. So he almost gets in it with him. And he also, when they were on the streets, got in it with a Michael Jackson impersonator too. So it's just been heavy aggression with Martin and Michael in this episode up to this point. So he comes over to Tommy. He's like, "Tommy, we got to get out of here, man. I almost rolled up on Michael Jackson. I'm about to get arrested. I got to go hook up with Varnell and just make sure what the plan is for when I show up on this show." And Tommy's like, "Yo, man, like I'm cool, like that's fine, but I'm trying to do a little over here with this little fine little thing." And the lady's fine, Steve.
Oh yeah.
Sexy as all hell. So Martin's like, "Oh, well, you hang back here and just quick piece of advice. Hollywood's a little crazy, so check the Adam's apple." So
Check the deck.
that's fucked up, Steve. He puts a seed in Tommy's head, but then he just busts out. He's got to go find Varnell.
And he knocks on Varnell's door, and Varnell pops out, and he's confused at first. He doesn't remember Martin. Like, wait, who are you? Oh, Martin. Martin?
Martin. Okay, yeah. And he's like, "Yeah, man, remember you said I could be on your show?" And like, clearly Varnell's like, "Oh, shit." You
Yeah.
know, he didn't want this to happen. So they're talking, and he's trying to like figure this out. And then this just like gaggle of every kind and shade of white woman that you can think of comes out. There's a Russian one, there's a schoolgirl version, all very hot. And they're like, "Varnell, I need my turn." And one of them has she's like, "I peeled a grape for you." I mean, Varnell's living the good life, Steve. There's some Russian broad who's like, hurry up, Varnell, if I need to get my turn or some shit like
When
that.
am I going to get to my turn, Varnell?
And so Varnell's like, look, man, I'm going to hook it up. You go in the audience, but I got to get back to business. So he starts going in. One of the chicks hands Martin a grape. He's like, oh, for me? Man, come to Hollywood, get a grape. Ain't that crazy? And closes the door. But as he's like shutting the door, he's like, hey, man, you might want to get a couple of sisters up in there, bruh.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Man,
be
I'm
on
going to be on
TV.
the show. Mama.
And then he makes it back to Gina and Cole. He's like, baby, guess who's gonna be on the show? Oh, you gonna be up in here? Oh, get up off me, girl.
Man, but why are you? Shouldn't you be out in like backstage getting makeup and stuff? It's weird. You're sitting in the audience. He's like, I ain't with the makeup and shit. He's just like,
Yeah,
don't
I ain't
worry
swinging
about
with the makeup.
it. He's all Hollywood now. I just want to point out we because I don't know if we see him yet, but there is a wild looking like PA or like the like director
Yeah.
of the show with the blonde hair. That I don't know who this man is. He looks like he hangs out with the hairdresser from Baby Boy, the $40 guy. They definitely hang out together, but that's hilarious. But this is the show starts, Steve. So everybody's sitting back, and it's time for the original Hollywood swinger himself, Varnell Hill.
Did you miss me? I gotta ask, what's up? Wait.
Yo,
But you
man,
know
he's
what?
totally he's ripping off your stuff, man. Like Varnell's like, this is a Carlos Mencia level thing going on here, Steve.
But Martin brushes it off. He's like, "Oh man, that's probably his way of addressing me." You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like we got a thing going. You know what I'm saying?
We connected backstage, so he's just giving me a shout out. And they're like, all right. But then Varnell's like, where my cats at? He does like this cheesy thing. Where my dog's at? And Martin's all over that. And then he's like, hey, whatever. Didn't I tell you to get a human audience in here? And Martin starts busting it laughing like it's the greatest joke he's ever told, Steve.
Like,
Oh, oh.
shit is so hilarious, man. He's buzzing out, and like, I don't know if you catch J. Anthony Brown. He's back there. He's like in the crowd. J. Anthony Brown. He's a famous comedian. Like, he played the uncle on Moesha. He was, I think he's a part of the Ricky Smiley radio show too. Watch out there now.
Yeah, because I mean, Martin's literally he's running up the stairs. He's laying on people, laughing. At one point, he's like Titanic flying, holding the rails, laughing. I mean, he's all about Varnell, and Cole's like, dude, why are you laughing? This shit is corny, dude. But until I'm on, he's Eddie and I'm Arsenio. Oh my god, dude. So it's getting the show elapses a little bit. It's getting time starting to go, and then Varnell comes to do his little like ask the audience segment. So Martin's like, oh, clearly like this is it. So he's like getting ready for it. But what happens, Steve?
Instead of talking to Martin, he comes up and talks to Fred Rerun Barry from What's Happening fame. And he's like, yeah, I want to introduce a buddy of mine, Fred Barry. He's just like, what's happening? And before he even gets to say anything, Martin comes up, he interrupts. He's just like, man, how you get up here? First of all, both of you looking glossy. How you get up here and talking about what's happening? Man, you better get the pop locking up in here.
And I mean, crickets, Steve. He's bombing. And even Varnell looks over and is like, what the hell is wrong with you, man? So he just goes, and he's like, man, you didn't see, I guess nobody saw what's happening, but like, and then Varnell calls for Snooki, and Martin's like looking for him. Snooki gets behind him, and Martin sees him and just is like, really just goes back to his seat, Steve.
And this is actually a little mini shout out, man, because Martin, this is where he got his start on What's Happening. They did a remake in the 80s called What's Happening Now, and he was one of the like the young stars on there, man. And that's obviously where he's famous from. This is I think the first time of What's Happening Alum has showed up on the show, and two other castmates from that show would reappear, man. The guy who played Raj, as well as Shirley, she would appear on an episode, man. But backstage in the green room, Tommy is talking to an aspiring actress, and he's just focused on her neck. And while she's talking, he's like, you know what? It's the lighting. Is it the lighting? You
So
know,
beautiful. Look up. Yeah.
yeah.
Let me just. And he like brushes her neck. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "Oh,
Like,
I was just admiring your neck."
yeah, it's a little swollen. Yeah, I just got over a cold. Oh, you just got over a cold. Look here, bruh. You think you had me fooled. Uh, you thought you had me, RuPaul.
And then he gets up, and as he's leaving, he walks over to like the guy with the shortest of shorts, and he's like, "You need Jesus." He's out, Steve. He's done with L.A. You know,
Hollywood people are sick. And Gina, she tells Martin, like, you have to accept that it's not happening.
10 minutes. That's all you got left, man. It's not gonna happen. He forgot about you. He's like, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't happening, Steve.
And Varnell introduces his musical guest, tearing up the charts, hotter than baked clams, Jodeci.
And that's Jodeci, Steve.
The real Jodeci, man. And this is one of my favorite Jodeci songs, man. Like halfway through the song, Martin just pops out. And I didn't know this, but Jodeci, they were unaware that this was going to happen. They thought they were invited to this show to do a legit performance. So the reactions that you see are real.
Oh my! I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, because Martin comes out from backstage with a hot mic somehow. I don't know how he got a hot mic, but he's the third mic, Steve. Yes, he will. Yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah.
Oh, you thought it was over?
I like the little ad libs he throws in while they're singing too. He'll just be like, "Me and Jodeci think y'all cheating on us, girl."
Yeah.
And no one can believe this. I mean, Gina's like, "What
Oh
the
my God.
fuck? Like, what's going on?" Varnell's blown away. I like how Martin like basically busts a nut. He's like,
Anyway, even though moan.
"Oh, yeah."
Mhm.
And he gets some applause, right? So he even pushes Madonna, like after the song, he pushes Madonna. He's like, excuse me, ma'am. Like, it pushes her to the side,
You might want to move around.
sits down, starts like trying to talk to Varnell, and they cut to commercial. And Varnell's like, "Man, what the hell is wrong with you, man?"
Yeah.
Like, Varnell's pissed. The blonde guy's furious. He can't believe it.
They might not even be on my show again, man.
So he's like, "Dude, you said I could be on your show." He's like, "Dude, that's Hollywood talk, man. Hey, rerun. How many times have I asked you to come to my house?" "A lot." "How many times have you come?"
None.
"What would happen if you did come to my house?"
I'll probably get sprayed.
Oh, so that's, and Martin's like, "Oh, so it's Hollywood talk, man? That's
Top
Hollywood
of your
talk?"
ass, man.
You know about what I'm talking about, man. Dude, also, just again, we talked about it last episode. Tommy Davidson, God bless you, dude. You are hilarious in this show.
So all that Hollywood talk, the catfish, the Lake Varnell, all that. Yes, man. Snooky, do work.
And Gina stands up because Gina's a real one, Steve.
Hell yeah.
And she's like, "That's fucked up, Varnell. You might be from Hollywood, but we're from Detroit." And then Cole stands up like, "Detroit the hell?"
Yeah.
And like, "That's not fair. You better give him his time. You promised him his time." And Varnell sees, and then like the audience starts turning on Varnell because of this. And then Varnell sees this and is like, "Man, you didn't think I was gonna give him his time, man? 3 minutes, that ain't nothing to me, man. That's fine. We'll give him his time. That's fine." So Martin's gonna get his time, Steve.
and they come back from commercial. Martin's at the couch, and Varnell asks, "So, Martin, tell me how's your time been here in L.A.?" And then right when Martin talks, they're like, "Cut!" Like, yeah. So you train the monkey to talk in Hollywood? I was like, man. So like, I'm talking to the monkey, right? Like,
We're done. It's over. The lights go out. He confronts Varnell. He's like, that's my time? He's like, yeah, man. And then he like Martin puts him into like some kind of like a chokehold or some shit.
you think I'm having a mental conniption or something? You
That's
know, you have been a thorn in my ass.
and so the chokehold ensues Latrell Sprewell style, and then Snooki obviously comes and does his work, Steve. So Martin's getting dragged off. But
Yeah.
he, if this happened, greatest weird musical performance of all time.
Yeah.
I mean,
And where the brothers at? Where my Latina brothers at? Underlay. Who wants some Snooki?
so we cut. It's a disaster. Martin's on the phone with Stan. He's like, man, Stan, I'm out here in LA. It's not what I thought I was. I want my job back. And he gets his job back, Steve. So it's fine. Everything's fine. You
For
know?
now.
Yeah. So he hangs the phone up, collects himself, and then turns around, bumps right into Michael Jackson again, Steve. MJ's there.
MJ steals on him. He's like, man, I know Michael just now. He didn't just swing on me.
You ain't so bad without all those people, are you? Yeah, he gets him, Steve. He knocks him to the floor, honestly.
Hold up, man. I'm down with Jermaine. Man,
I like how Michael does it too, because he's like, Tito, and get like Martin's like, what? And he just fucking hits him. It's Michael's a fucking sinister guy, Steve. This guy can fucking dirty fight like a motherfucker.
I bought Latoya's whole album. And then we cut back to Pam. She makes her way all the way to what she thinks is Denzel's house. And it's not Denzel at all. The guy rolls his window down and he's like, I'm from Africa. I don't know this Denzel.
But even though it's not Denzel, clearly just like a loaded dude, seems handsome, nice like African royalty of some kind. So he's like, "Would you like to join me in the limo?" And she's like, "Well, shit, okay." Gets in, but then the guy goes in on that buckshot, Steve.
Your buckshots are making me homesick. May I call you Beady Bead?
And Pam, if I was in LA, you could have hung out. Come to Van Nuys. But that's it, Steve. That's Martin's time in Hollywood for now. You know?
One of the greatest cameos in the show's history, man.
Check out Varnell Hill t-shirts coming soon to the Happen in the 90s merch store.
I do the Cabbage Patch
Shaboing boing.
on a Varnell man tan. Did you miss me? 2 years later, the Far Side will release Lab Cabin California. And I really love this album, man. They had an eclectic style to them. This is the one with They Keep Running Away.
Oh, hell yeah. That's tight. I was trying to place them. I'm not a Far Side fan, obviously, but that song is dope. I am a Far Side fan because that's them.
And do you remember the song Drop?
No.
This was a Spike Jones video, I believe. Spike, he always had like a weird style to his videos. He would always, all of them are different.
I'm reading the description of the video right now. That's the one where it's like filmed backwards. So it's all like weird movements and shit. Hell yeah. Shout out Spike Jones too. That's another 90s legend.
Unsung hero. And of course the Buddy Holly video, man. On that same day in 95, R. Kelly would release his self-titled album, R. Kelly, and this has slapper after fucking slapper. You remind me of my Jeep. I can't sleep, baby. I can't live, baby.
It's got the Isleys on it, Steve. It's got Biggie on it.
It's got Biggie.
You could go 1 to 16. You didn't have to change the song.
Man.
I'd have to re-listen to all of it, but I can tell you 4 of these are on. It's weird, but they're on my workout mix that I I listen to a constant like group of songs when I work out, and they just like add to it based on what you listen to.
Yeah.
And Down Low, the Happy song with Biggie is on it, and I think Hump Bounce is on it too. Because I remember laughing at that when I was doing a plank one day.
Hump Bounce. Yeah, that's track 2. But yeah, man, I can't get past the art, bro. Like I'm not smoking blunts and like hanging out with the guy on Friday nights, but yeah, man, I'll throw some shit on the playlist.
Plus, I mean, and I think that you look at everything. It's like I can tell you definitively now, Hulk Hogan, you're a douchebag, but I'll watch a Hulk Hogan match and love it, Steve.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
the
Terry
art from
Bollea is
artists.
trash. Yeah, but
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan, you're an inspiration to millions of kids from the 80s and 90s, man. So can't take that away.
no, fuck no, and like same thing with R. Kelly, all the hits, all the
Oh,
features he did on hits.
yeah.
You know, and especially when we were in like high school and college, it's just like we can't. I just can't.
It's it's music we grew up to, man. Like that's when you were like starting to become mature, our coming of age years. It's like, man, I'm grown enough to get this kind of music and possibly get them draws one day.
Yeah, dude. So R. Kelly the man, shame on you. R. Kelly the artist, you the man.
Tisk tisk. In 1997, The Jackal premieres in theaters. An imprisoned IRA fighter is freed to help stop a brutal, seemingly faceless assassin from completing his next job. Directed by Michael Caton Jones, starring Bruce Willis, Richard Gere, Sidney Poitier, Diane Venora, and J.K. Simmons. Sprinkle a little JB in there.
Yeah, a little Jables and a little Jack Black. J.K. Simmons too. That's another. He ain't a legend at this point, but he's in this
Yeah.
movie and he's good in this. So if you like a good action thriller movie, you know, a little like spy type intrigue to it, take a watch on The Jackal because it's an unsung movie. I feel like.
First time I watched this, I thought J.K. Simmons was going to be a rogue cop because he always, like at some point, he's going to turn heel because he has the demeanor, he has the look. He always plays that kind of role, like he's the evil villain guy. But like, no, he gets whacked.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not full level JK yet.
We're
It's
not,
not
yeah,
Peanut Eminem yet. You know what I'm saying?
not there yet.
But you know, you got Richard Gere putting on a decent Irish accent because I feel like he's like in prison because he was in the IRA, if I remember, and
Yeah.
he's like one of those where they pull out like this dangerous guy because he's the only person that can figure out where this jackal guy is, and the jackal is Bruce Willis, and he's like a Mission Impossible level assassin bad guy who's just like a hired killer who is this ghost of a person he can manipulate his face. He always has different wigs, facial hair, you know, throw on an accent. I mean, it's like it's real Hollywood shit going on here. It's at one point he looks like Howie Long with a mustache in the scene behind me or behind Steve. But great shit. And the greatest scene, you can look this up if you just want to watch this. He gets Jack Black, who's I think like some sort of tech arms dealer person in this movie, Steve. I don't remember.
Yeah, and he has a black name, if I'm not mistaken, man. Lamont. His name is Ian, but his last name is Lamont. That's what it was. Ian Lamont.
Lamont. Because fucking Willis is like, hey, Lamont, run.
Big
Yes.
dummy.
So he gets like the coolest weapon I've seen in a while. He gets like this remote controlled sniper rifle machine gun. I mean, it's some tech, Steve. It's some crazy shit.
Looks like some Nerf type gun, man. But it's
Yeah.
real.
It's like a tank gun that he can control. Like, and it's, you know, it's his. So he's on this assassin move. He's put together all these pieces as they're chasing him. And you know, Richard Gere's gonna get his in this. He's chasing him. He's got that Irish tenacity. He's high cha-chaing over. You know, I remember there's like scenes in a boat. There's, you know, it's just craziness. There's a lot of people getting shot. Jack Black gets his arm blown off. It gets turned into Swiss cheese.
I felt so bad for Jables, man. Like they killed my bro. Like how they shot his arm off. He can't rig a goo. How he gonna rig a goo?
Cricket. Go. My butt cheeks is cold. Yeah, but this is one of those. There's a lot of weird action movies. There's a movie with Val Kilmer called The Saint, where it's
Covered.
almost where it's like this, but in the reverse, where Val Kilmer is like he does all the disguise shit and he's running around. So it was just cool action movies like this that kind of went under the radar, but this is a good one, dude.
But I like the Jackal better than the Saint. The Saint bored me. And I said this off camera, man, but like you never see Bruce Willis playing the villain, man. He's typically the hero, just
Yeah.
here to save the day. And it can't overlook Sidney Poitier, the legend. They call me Mr. Tibbs. Like, man, like you fit all of this in your budget. R.I.P. to that legend too.
It is crazy. I mean, it's Sidney Poitier. I mean, he's a cop. He's running around. This isn't like some like role where he just like phoned it in. It does have like a. It's crazy they got this amount of stars. I mean, maybe Bruce Willis was just like, "Hey, I want to make a movie," and that's how this happened. But this is a good one. This isn't like Twister or some shit where you're like, I think it's pretty good. This is pretty fun, like for everybody. If you're into some violence.
And in the end, Sidney Poitier does Richard Gere a solid because of his work saving the first lady. She almost got assassinated during her speech, and because of his pull, now he's got a little clout within the organization. He basically just lets Richard Gere walk off scot free because I don't think initially they were going to let him go. You're like, oh no, your deal is done. You got to come back. It's like, well, you're not obligated to, basically.
Yeah, all that gerbil stuff. We erased that.
Yeah, off the
You're good
record.
to go. Go back to Ireland with your weird ass.
That following year, 1998, the final episodes of Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain would air. And if I'm not mistaken, Matt, aren't they both spinoffs of Tiny Toons?
No, I think anime. Well, I don't know if spin-off. Maybe they appeared in Tiny Toons, but no, I think Steven Spielberg created like this was like a Steven Spielberg product, and
That's the tie-in, probably. Yeah.
yeah. But I like Animaniacs. Pinky and the Brain was just like a little short that they showed as part of the anime. It was like on the same show, if I believe.
True, but it would also have its own show as well, man. Pinky and the Brain would air 65 episodes. It would have 96 segments, so some of that 96 would go to Animaniacs. While
Okay.
Animaniacs, they aired 99 episodes with 274 segments.
I like Pinky and the Brain more. I liked Animaniacs. It just never like grabbed me completely. You know what I'm saying? It's not like on the same level as other cartoons to me, but I dug it for all of the tie-ins that they did with like Warner Brothers properties.
Yeah.
They throw a Batman in there or something, which I always enjoyed. And for Pinky and the Brain, Maurice LaMarche, the voice actor, that guy's a legend, dude. And that's why I think Pinky and the Brain is so good because they have people like that. He's the brain. He's the
Orson
Orson
Welles.
Welles voice.
Yeah.
He does a great impersonation because there's a video of Orson Welles like recording a pee commercial where he like goes off.
I
We
remember
used to
that.
watch it. We watched it all the time. Yeah, hell yeah. So check that out too if you ever get a shot.
In that following year, 1999, Survivor Series 99 is aired from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Even though this is the Attitude Era, in my opinion, the greatest era, this wasn't the best pay-per-view, man. And I'm only saying that because, okay, I like how they stuck with the tradition of the four-man teams, but the pairings were just so off, man. You had the Headbangers paired up with D'Lo Brown and The Godfather against Bradshaw, Farouk, and the Dudley Boys. And Bubba Ray, I think this might be the Dudley Boys' first event with WWF since leaving ECW. And he wanted to know if he could get some hoes. And Godfather.
I love that, dude.
Yeah, guy was like, man, hell no, man, get the hell out of here. But this also is Kurt Angle's debut.
Okay,
Yeah,
legend.
yeah, he had a match with Sean Stasiak. I don't know if you remember him.
Wasn't he a
He
football player, wrestler? Or am I mistaken on
Oh,
that?
I'm not sure about that, but he would also go by Meat. I think later his name was Meat,
I
and
remember that. I don't remember what this guy. How do you spell his name, Steve? That sounds crazy.
Sean, yeah, it is ridiculous, man. Sean Stasiak, Stasiak.
American Canadian professional wrestler. Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. But hey, Sean, you did it.
And then another pairing, it was Deborah and Mae Young, the Fabulous Moolah, and Tori against Ivory, Jacqueline, Luna, and Terry. And this match lasted under 2 minutes, man. But you would like Terry, like she gets her top ripped off by Deborah. And you see them beautiful nibbles, baby. The beautiful nibbles, them big brown nibbles, baby. Oh yeah, baby. Terry Runnels, baby. That's gold dust, baby, mama.
What? That's why you tuned in, Steve, to these pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Because you were like, maybe Sable just falls and something happens, and that was like you didn't want that to happen there. But there's a
Yeah.
tasty little tenderoni behind those two. And who are we kidding, Steve? The
Yeah, Deborah.
fabulous Mule comes up to you and is like, "I want to suck you." You'd give it. You'd let her. Steve.
I totally would not. Totally would not. I would
Why? What if
because
that sweet old lady wanted to suck you and fuck you, Steve?
because
Come
I
on.
need to have better respect for my penis, Matt. And this is the first time Big Show won the match or won a belt too. Like I think it was supposed to be Stone Cold in the main event, but Stone Cold gets ran over by a car, and yeah, he had to sit out for a little bit to get some surgery done, I think, to his neck. I think he's still uh dealing with that deadly power driver he got from Owen Hart, man. So he sat out for a little minute, and so Big Show, he comes into the main event against The Rock and Triple H. And yeah, man, we get a young giant, young Paul White getting his first strap in this. I like how when the hoes are out and Jerry says, she could suck the numbers off my credit card, I'll tell you. But,
That's
but
great.
any callbacks, honorable mentions, canker sores.
Excuse me, Steve. I'm going. Okay, I'm back. Um, Anything that I want to point out here? You know what? I don't have anything in mind. It's been a rough week in the Matt G household. But just want to shout out to the Jackal one more time and Bruce Willis specifically because uh, the man is. I would you say he's top 3 action stars, Steve?
Easily. Easily.
So yeah, respect the name, respect a legend while he's still on Earth. And I know he's going through some awful shit, but dude, that guy is a fucking badass. So shout out to just Bruce Willis. How about you?
Bruce Willie, man. Quite a few things, man. 1991, 90210 is airing the episode Euphoria. And this is why I said Emily's not the one for Brandon, Matt, because they go to this rave party, this underground club, and she's telling him, she's trying to coax him into taking this pill, Euphoria. She's like, no, I don't do drugs. I
Oh
don't smoke. I
yeah.
don't drink. I don't do.
Oh,
So he's like, you know what? You want some water? Okay, I'll go get some water. She Bill Cosby's Brandon. And Brandon, man, he's having the night of his life. He's like stepping out of himself, and all his friends, his sister, even is like, Brandon, you're not being yourself. And then when he realized that she slipped him a pill, slipped him a Mickey, like it was all done, effective immediately. We're no longer together. And the next episode, Matt, is
damn.
crazier. Yeah,
Emily, man, what
Emily,
the hell, yo?
she's not the one.
This bitch is bad news. One episode, she's in a kid fucking shoots himself. The next, she's slipping a kid a Mickey.
Yeah,
Fuck's
bitch, I
going
told
on
you,
here?
I don't do drugs. I'm Brandon Walsh
I'm
in a
Captain
19.
America, bitch.
Well, I saved the baby. 1999, Futurama's airing Fry in the Slurm Factory. I kind of wanted to do this one, but it's like, man, the other two are hard to deviate from, man. But RIPs are in order, man. RIP to Quincy Jones, man. To call him a legend is an insult. I feel like he's a production god. He is the best producer of all time, man. You know, obviously he did the stuff with Michael Jackson, Thriller, Bad, but even before that, like, you know, he was working with Miles Davis. He's also tied into Fresh Prince. He's a part of that universe. And, you know, his daughter was engaged to Tupac Shakur, his oldest daughter, and his younger daughter is a great actress, man, in Community, or no, not Community, but Parks and Rec, man. So like, he just
That's Quincy Jones's daughter.
uh, is it Rashida Jones? Yeah,
Yeah, holy shit.
yeah,
That's
man.
royalty, dude. That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
And I can't overlook that he did the greatest theme song without lyrics ever in Stanford and Son theme, man.
Damn. Yep.
Dun, 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 dun. So R.I.P. to that legend, man. I mean, there's so many accolades. Like Stevie Wonder, he worked with all like the Motown people. But yeah. And also R.I.P. to Tony Todd, aka Candyman.
Damn, dude. That one fell under my radar. I didn't even know that. When did that happen?
This happened over the weekend.
Damn. Tony Todd's a legend, dude. That guy was in like, I mean, obviously the Candyman, but that guy he was a scary, crazy dude in a lot of good movies, you know? I
Yeah,
forget
man.
what the other movie he was in. I just saw where he just played like, I think he was like a second in command in some like, maybe he was in The Rock or something. It was some like movie with a bunch of like dudes with guns. I don't know.
Yeah, he was in other roles that weren't horror. Like I randomly remember seeing him on Lean on Me. He was one of Morgan Freeman's like teachers at the school. It's like, wait, hold on, is that Candyman? Oh shit, that's Tony Todd. So like, yeah, he'll pop up randomly, man. But yeah, RIP to both of those legends. And please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister to do the Cabbage Patch. Kiss a pretty lady and signing autographs is the Varnell Man 10. Shaboing boing. Varnell Man 10. Check out Food Show Fanatics as well as Crushgasm and our guy Clark the Shark. That man is salt of the earth. I can't believe you're from on Podcastle.
Yeah, dude. He's the anti-Philly guy. He's the man who's actually making me reconsider my thoughts on Philadelphia, Steve.
And I
Because
don't
if
like that.
it created him, so it's got to have some like goodness in it. So shout out to Matt Clark for, I mean, making me almost flip flop on my hatred.
Yeah.
I love him, Matt. You're a fucking legend, dude. And he's a fucking award winning everything
Award-winning.
at this point. This guy's getting trophies on trophies.
That's how we should be addressing him
Congratulations.
now. Award-winning Matthew Clark. Who doesn't love a good Matt?
Dude, the next time we have him on the show, which I hope is soon, or we do his show, that's what I'm gonna say. It's just an honor to be with an award winner.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start calling him A&W, dude. Award winner. That's it.
Yeah. That's all we getting is W's, man. This is Steve G and Matt G.
Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the flat kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!